Good evening. Welcome back to Expert in Science. I'm your host Raju Mandhyan. We are on the subject matter of appreciating cultures, and our second guest tonight is a lady, a princess actually, Hazel Andrea Stuart. She's been living in the Philippines for the last 14 or 15 years and has made Bacolod and Iloilo her home. She does documentaries on Filipino festivals and cultures and stuff like that, and she loves the country very much. So let's have a little chat with her about appreciating cultures. Hello Hazel, welcome to Expert Insights.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor. I'm usually behind the camera, not in front of it, but it's a great honor. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. The pleasure's all mine. So tell us about your journey into the Philippines very quickly.
Okay, very quickly, my husband grew up in the Philippines. He was almost born here, but not quite, in Iloilo as the son, the American son, of the first president of Central Philippine University. So he was here for 14 or 15 years before his parents went back to the States. Always wanted to come back.
He was an American.
So he was American, I'm British. So in 1998, we came back.
Fantastic. Let's take a little pause because I want my audience to see the kind of work you do, and I have a little clip lined up about Wings of Courage, and right after that we'll come back and talk to you about your life in the Philippines and appreciating culture. So let's line up the little clip on Wings of Culture by Hazel Andrea Stuart.
Marisa Montelibano contracted polio when she was 3 years old. She's able to walk with the use of braces and crutches, but is mostly in a wheelchair. Marisa went to school at Assumption Convent in the Philippines, where the nuns encouraged her to write poems and compose songs while the other children were playing at recess. Songwriting has been a creative outlet for Marisa. She was inspired to compose Wings to Fly after she had met a group of disabled people who shared the same spirit, not of self-pity, but of gratitude to those who believed in them.
Once there was a time I thought I was different because I couldn't walk like other children. I'd watch them as they'd run and play out in the sun. With pain inside my heart, I fell apart. But as the years went by, it didn't matter anymore. I felt a deep joy that I have never known before. You came into my life, gave me wings to fly. I felt my spirit soaring high. You taught me not to cry. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You taught me how to try. There's nothing to be afraid of. You showed me all that I could be, to have pride and dignity. You gave me to fly when you believed in me. Oh, there are those of us who never saw the light of day, and there are those of us who never heard the music play, and there are those like me who never thought we'd be people who the world would ever need.
So there we go. Welcome back to Expert Insight. That was one of the clips that Hazel makes. Hazel makes several has made several documentaries. She's made nearly 50 of them.
Over 50.
Over 50 of them, and this was just one of them.
On the Philippines, over 50 on the Philippines. Nearly 70 altogether, from Antarctica, South America, England, wherever, but
correct. I stand corrected. 50 on the Philippines and more than 70 from all across the world.
And I have the 50th for you.
And she has a gift for Expert
They're all
Insights.
1 hour, and they're a series, A Grain of Sand, which
Alright.
always starts with the same little clip at the beginning, with the dog being an MGM. Oh!
All right. Hazel, so tell us how you got started in this business of documentary filmmaking.
Well, I was a photographer. I'm a fellow of the Royal Photographic Society, and I used to adjudicate for the Royal Photographic Society. And then in the Philippines, in Boston, the local cable channel offered an 18-week course on television, all aspects of television production.
In what city?
In Boston, Massachusetts.
Right.
So we both took it.
You and
And my husband.
Right.
And amazingly, we both passed 18 weeks later. And that was the start. And very shortly after that, we came to the Philippines.
This was 1998.
Yes, and started.
So you learned filmmaking before you came to the Philippines?
I had never completed a film, never. We just took the course and then more or less came immediately afterwards.
So tell me about your husband, of course, was born and raised in
Yes,
Iloilo.
he was, and loved the Philippines with his whole heart.
That's why he came
So
back,
it's natural for me to wear this T-shirt.
Puti ang balat, pero Pinoy ang puso. Okay.
In other words, my skin is white, but my heart is Filipino.
So tell me, how did you get to come about loving this country so much? Your husband was born
Well,
here, of course.
We came, and when I think of the hotel I stay in, I don't know whether I'm allowed to mention it, but
No, you can mention it. It's
good.
fine, yeah?
The Marriott Hotel is a chain. It's
Right.
at the airport, and I always stay there. And I've stayed in other Marriotts, well, in many parts of the world.
Right.
But the Philippine Marriott, with the welcome that you get from the Filipinos,
Right.
is unlike any other place, because the Filipino heart is so welcoming. And you just are embraced by the Filipinos, and that is very special. And something else,
Yes.
the fact that the Philippines is #1, I read in the paper, in business English,
Right.
above the States and Australia.
Yeah.
#1 in business English. And for me to live here in a country that speaks English by everybody, everybody speaks English. And when I first came, we were scuba diving. I was. He was holding the leash. He's not a scuba diver.
David is your husband, yeah?
No, but he says he holds a leash. But we dived all over, and to prove it, I'll
Oh,
just...
you can't get up. You're tied to the chair. Oh,
Okay.
okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot. I was tied to the chair.
Yeah.
All over the Philippines, and everybody speaks English, and there was no time for me to learn. I was diving.
Yeah.
So I have never learned, because if I go to Palawan, they don't speak Ilonggo. If I go to Cebu, they speak Cebuano.
Right.
So they speak English. So I think rather than spending 8 hours a day to learn English, I make television films. I edit 16 hours a day or whatever.
Wow.
Yes, I do. I work very hard for the Philippines.
So of all the films that you made on the Philippines, which has been the most exciting episode? I'm sure they were all fantastic. Which one would you acclaim and say this is mine?
I think what you just showed was the most moving,
Moving one,
which
okay.
was the Philippines.
Well, just a little
the
clip of it,
Physically
yeah.
Challenged.
Yeah.
People cry when they see that film. My proudest moment
Yes,
in
ma'am.
the Philippines
Yeah.
was when Jose Marie Chan dedicated a song to me when he was singing. Didn't write a song for me, but he said, I'm going to dedicate. I nearly dropped the camera.
This was in Bacolod?
That was in Iloilo.
Okay.
And through him, I met his sister, Nene, who has a program called One Meal, where when you go to an hotel, you add 5, 10 pesos to your bill, or 100, whatever you want, and it feeds school children. And she is feeding 250 school children from kindergarten to college
That's amazing. That's
to have
laudable, yeah.
a meal.
No, of all the films that you have made, the documentaries on Philippines, which one would you say is, which one would you recommend for us to watch tonight, tomorrow?
Oh,
One of all the 50, which one would you recommend?
possibly the 50th, because it's on West Versailles.
Okay.
which shows a wider area. Then there's Boracay, of course, with the magical moment that I had diving, which you will see in the other little clip. But all my films are very special to me. It's very hard to choose because when I'm making them, they mean a great deal.
Yeah.
In Iloilo, I've been privileged. I travel at my own expense. I never charge anybody anything. So I'm really an English nut in that way.
English nut?
And the presidential sisters actually have given my films to the Department of Tourism.
Right.
And the Department of Tourism said, what's the contract? How can we pay you? And I said, it's my gift. Puti ambalat.
Yeah, right.
So it's my gift to the Philippines.
Yeah.
To thank the Philippines for giving me a home.
Wow, that's so gracious of you, no? So what kind of impact does documenting events and cultural things have on the country and on the world around us? What kind of impact do you plan to make?
That's a very good question, because I'm thrilled to be shown on Living Asia, which is worldwide.
Yeah, the one by Emilia Abrera.
Emilia Abrera is one, and I met her through and you'll see the Philippine Eagle in my clip, because I made a little documentary for the Philippine Eagle Foundation. And the fact that I can travel with, for instance, the Dinagyang tribe in Iloilo that won the Aliwan Festival. Dinagyang Festival is the major festival of the Philippine Islands, apart from Aliwan, which is all the festivals.
Not like Mascara and not like the Cebu.
Right. Dinagyang has won more times than any other in Iloilo. And they then won the Aliwan Festival in Manila. And from there, they went to the United States for the Philippine Independence Day celebration. And for me to be able to make a film about the Filipinos traveling to New York and performing all the way down, and I wore this T-shirt, and about 50 times, ma'am, can I take your picture? Because there's so many Filipinos, and they were thrilled to see the tribe from Iloilo in New York.
So now, today, you're home as a documentary filmmaker and as an English person who loves Philippines. You call yourself Phil. Filipino lover, you know, Anglophile, Phil. No? So, what's a day in the life of Hazel Andrea Stuart in Bacolod?
I get up at about 4:30 and take my dog for a walk.
Puppy?
Yes. So we're having walked and played with him. I then start editing. And then we might go out to breakfast or have breakfast at home. Then I'm editing. Or I go filming.
Right.
And when I go filming, he goes to, I live in Bacolod, and he goes to Iloilo Vet and lives as a member of the family. I'm very privileged. I pay the vet. But he lives in his house with his girlfriend as a member of the family.
Right.
And so I'm free to travel abroad or to come to Manila to film.
Do you have any Filipino family there? Anybody from your husband's side?
No Philippine family at all.
Right.
No. But very, very good friends.
Very
Filipino
close,
friends.
almost family friends, no?
Yeah.
So, Andrea, now let's move to talking about appreciating cultures. Now, you love this culture, of course, no? I don't want to ask you if there were any challenges, but what can you share with us?
Well, I can share one thing, and that's crossing the road. If you're Filipina and you're going to cross the road, you go,
stop here, okay.
And you walk across, right? When I cross the road, being British,
everybody stops.
I'm standing at the side of the road, probably on the pedestrian crossing, which makes not the slightest difference. In my country, everybody screeches to a halt at the pedestrian crossing. Not here. I can be on the crossing and everybody's going to But if anybody does stop, I say, thank you so much, and I cross the road. Unlike the other attitude, which I think stems from the difference in my culture.
The way you were brought up,
the way I was brought up. Well, I was brought up in the last century, right? When you were seen and not heard, okay? It's, don't you make a noise, what are they thinking of you? You shut up, you be quiet.
Behave.
But what happens in these hotels when there's a wedding or some function?
Right.
There are the parents like this, okay? There are the kids screaming, running round the hotel, running round the restaurant, followed by the yaya, who has no authority, it seems, to say, shush, you're disturbing people. It's the fact that the mindset is, I'm a little god, I'm brought up as a little god. Where I was brought up, you watch out, because what are people thinking of you? That's the difference, I find.
That's the difference. No, so coming from these perspectives, the fact that you were brought up in a very conservative manner, and here in today, 21st century, people are brought up differently, what kind of learnings, what kind of message would you tell the young and the new who haven't been exposed to so many cultures? What do they do to adapt and to maneuver their life around other cultures?
I would say only one thing.
Yeah.
Try to think of what the other person is thinking about you. Instead of your opinion, what you want to say.
Right.
That there is another point of view.
Yeah.
And maybe that person is not thinking good things of you or your child.
Yeah.
That's what I would say to them. Try to think, as I think all the time, what are they thinking of me?
So does not make assumptions, not jump to conclusions,
Right.
but try to assess their perspective of you. So thus get into their shoes, get inside their head and try to understand what. That would be your recommendation?
That would be my recommendation.
Fantastic. So Hazel, what is the future for you here? What do you want to do in the coming months and the years?
Well, there is a possibility that the Iloilo tribe, and I've been to Korea with them, there was a livable communities program, and then of course I went to New York. I've been filming Iloilo, because really is a major city. I will be filming the River Summit, which is happening next weekend. 30 countries with 1,000 participants.
Where is this happening?
Are coming to Iloilo City.
When is this?
For a river summit.
When?
Next weekend.
Oh wow, so close,
and it's the production, the preservation of the rivers. So I'll be filming that. And then people are whispering about the same tribe going to Guam.
This is the, what name was it?
The Nagyang Festival.
We'll show that little clip,
yes,
right? Okay.
There's a little bit of clip. And they will be going to Guam. Again, it's the fact that the Philippines are being recognized in different countries of the world. It's thrilling. And that, if I can do something, I'm paying back for my home here.
For your being hosted here and being a guest.
So if I can promote the Philippines.
Well, there are so many expats, including me, living in this country, and I don't think most all of us appreciate this country as much as you do. So you are really going the extra mile for the courtesy that's provided to you. My question is that of the two communities, your English community and the Filipino community, how much have they recognized your work and your input into this country's beauty?
I can't answer that. I can't say. I don't know. People keep stopping me in the street and say they see me on TV.
Right.
And one of the funniest things was, he was a diver, and he said, I've seen you on TV, but one thing I don't understand. I said, what's that? He said, the music fits the fish.
The music fits
the fish. So when the fish go,
right,
so does the music.
Okay.
So I said, really? So he said, I can't explain that. I said, well, that's because this fool writes the music. That's why.
Oh, okay.
So I compose all the music. It may not be very good, but it's mine. And nobody can sue me for copyright.
Right. No, so that's...
that was a funny thing.
That was a funny thing,
so
okay.
People do recognize me. I don't do it for awards. My husband captured the films, one each year, and sent them off for international awards, which we won 5 of them. That's not why I do it. I do it to bring recognition to the Philippines.
That's it for you. So now the work that you do, the good work that you do in terms of bringing recognition and appreciating the beauty of this culture. How do you want my viewers, one, your community, and also the English community that you're part of, to support you? What do you want from them? What do you expect from them, if there's anything?
I don't expect anything from anybody. That's why I don't charge.
Right.
I mean, mind you,
when I meant
if anybody
support,
wants to pay me, I will accept it.
Yeah.
Right. Don't think that I won't accept it.
I didn't mean
will.
money. I mean, how do you want us to support it to grow?
I want them to feel, people say to me, you are so passionate about the Philippines. I want the Filipino to feel passionate about his own country.
Right.
And to see the beauty for tourists. There are no tourists, and you've got to organize your festivals for a tourist. It's no good in Bacolod having 29 tribes, because they won't sit, the audience won't sit there for 8 or 9 hours. They won't. So if you want tourists, you must have an elimination round and gear it to the normal festival length, as they did in Iloilo, which they cut the number of tribes with an elimination run. I want people to come and see this country, what it has to offer, and not just what we hear about, the difficulties that we're having at the moment, what we hear about every day on the news. We must see the beauty and the goodness of the Philippines. That's what I want people to see.
That's all you want. You don't want cash, you don't want recognition, you want just people to appreciate the beauty. That's fantastic. So, do you ever plan to go back, or this is home for you forever?
This is home to me forever, because in England I have no family, no relations, nothing. In the States I have 3 wonderful stepchildren whom I adore, and we're in constant touch. But I'm here for life. I'm going to get carried out feet first.
Well, it'll be a long time to come.
I hope so.
It'll be a long time. I understand you also play some active part in the British community with the British ambassador.
Well, I'm a warden for the British Embassy, yes, I am.
And what does that involve?
Well, the other warden said to me, you're going to be the deputy warden. I said, what are my duties? He said, nothing. That's not true. I have duties. For instance, if you're British, I have to say to you, are you registered? And it's amazing how many, no.
That's it, that's your job.
And then everybody should be registered with the embassy, because in times of trouble, the embassy is there to help.
To be able to reach you. Miss Hazel, it's been wonderful talking to you. I'm at the end of my interview. I have asked you all the questions I need to ask you about appreciating cultures and all the good work you do. We'll be showing that little clip of yours where it's a collage of stuff you've done. Is there anything you'd like to say to your friends in Bacolod, in Iloilo, or all those who appreciate the documentaries you do? And this is your moment. That's your camera right there.
I would like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, for giving me a home. My friends everywhere, not only in Bacolod, but in Iloilo and anywhere else. Emily and Hilopes Caballo, I've made 6 films for Hilopes, and also, of course, Jo Marie Chan. All you people are so special in my life, and I do thank you for everything that you have given me. If I've given back, that's great. Salamat gid.
On that note, mabuhay and welcome to the Philippines. I don't have the right to welcome you, but hey, you're doing great, and I appreciate that. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let's watch that little video of Emily, not Emily Cabrera, but Hazel Stuart. And next week, we'll wrap up with the video. Next week, our guest is the Sri Lankan ambassador, Mr. Kuri, and also a gentleman called Tim. I forget his name. So the ambassador of Sri Lanka and Tim will be here next week to talk to us on Expat Insights. And this is a gift from Hazel to me. Thank you and salamat po. Thank you very much for watching Expat Insights. And Hazel, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. It's been a privilege.
We'll see you next week. Good night and mabuhay. Have a great week ahead of you. And let's watch that clip by Hazel.